7.5 million, the biggest gate in the arena's history. We now hold number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 6 highest gates here at the arena. We broke the record, which was our record, from the last time we were here. Fight of the night, no-brainer. The Van fight, Jim Miller and Yaroslav, they all won the bonuses.
Dana, first of all, well, King Green is going to be very mad at you that he didn't get a bonus. He was shouting at you.
Who?
Bobby Green.
Yeah.
He's going to be very mad.
Well, we talked about it, when you looked at the opponents and who they fought. But Bobby Green is going to get his own, he's been wanting his own shorts, so he's getting them. We're making sure he gets his own shorts.
Okay, cool. Let's look at that main event. A back-and-forth main event, very interesting, lots of tactical decisions by both men. How did you...
And just for the record, Bobby's not wrong. I mean, Bobby fights anybody, anytime. Stevens was 4 pounds over. He didn't give a shit. He still fought, and all the credit in the world to Bobby Green.
Okay. We'll look at that main event. How did you view the main event? What did you think of both men's performances, and how did you score the main event?
King Green, sorry. So I scored the main event. I had it 2-2 going into the last round. Okay. I thought Strickland won the last round.
Okay. Were you surprised that Khamzat stayed on the feet for so long portions of the fight?
No, what was interesting is, when I first started, the first 2 times I saw him fight on Fight Island, he used to talk about his stand-up in his team all the time. And I was saying, we haven't seen him stand up and really go toe-to-toe with somebody in a while. But I think, I think he had a rough weight cut. And
is that what you attribute? In the second round, right, he went for a couple of takedowns and looked like he just sort of collapsed on himself. Is that what you attribute that to, maybe the weight cut? And were you impressed with the fact he was able to get himself back into the fight after looking so gassed?
Yeah, listen, he's a tough guy. He's a fucking savage. So I would expect him not to roll over and quit.
Sean Strickland now has wins over Khamzat Chimaev and Israel Adesanya at middleweight, and I think it's kind of wild, right? You look at his style, he's got a quirky style, but he has wins over some of the best in this division's history. Where do you view Sean Strickland at in that division, and how impressed are you that he's been able to beat guys like Khamzat?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking me that because it's incredible. He looks great. He's got an awkward style. He's tough to fight, and another durable, tough guy that has no quit in him.
How did you score the Alexander Volkov-Waldo Costa fight earlier?
Yeah, I actually thought that Waldo won the fight, but I talked to Sean and Mick. They both thought it was scored the right way. The first round was, close.
A couple outside about the White House press conference we enjoyed the other day. When Josh Hockett is screaming at Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria, and then Alex Pereira stands up, what exactly goes through your mind?
I don't want any of these guys getting hurt over stupid shit that means nothing with guys that are never going to fight each other. You know what I mean? It's not like Ilia Topuria and Hockett are going to end up fighting. So it was just, I think that whole thing is goofy anyway. But, the guy went out and performed. Unranked guy went in and beat the number 5 guy in the world. So.
You've obviously done a lot of media for the White House this week, and we've had press conferences and stuff. How excited are you for that card, and how much are you feeling the buzz now that you've been out and done the media and we started talking about it?
It's going to be the biggest fight we've ever done. I mean, the numbers tonight were monstrous. The White House fight will blow this out of the water.
I'm not asking you to shit talk them, but obviously next week Ronda Rousey is fighting Gina Carano on Netflix. They are billing that as the biggest MMA fight of all time. Do you believe the White House event will probably eclipse those numbers, or is...
I love Ronda and Gina. I hope they do well. I have, yeah.
Damn, right here.
Yep.
What did you make of? I know you get fight of the night, but just Joshua Van's performance overall seems kind of like a promoter's dream. Like young fighter, has wicked fights, just seems to want to fight all the time. Just kind of what do you make of his kind of emergence as this?
Yeah, and the fact that after the first fight, I mean, when you win the belt because the guy breaks his elbow, he showed up and delivered tonight, man. He looked incredible, and what a war.
I assume it's safe to say Pantoja is next for him. They both seem to want to fight each other.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Sean Brady weird betting lines that were happening?
Yeah. Are you shitting me? Yes, of course I've been hearing about it all afternoon. This card had a lot of heat on it, and I told you this thing pulled massive numbers tonight on Paramount. So it's not surprising when a card this good and a fight like that, for the line to move.
And then a little bit of a very sad note. I don't think anyone was aware, but Grant Dawson was back here and informed us that his wife and him were trying for a kid, and they lost it on Monday of fight week. I'm curious if anyone from the promotion had heard about that, and
I
it
hadn't.
seems pretty like he ignored it, but it clearly affected him at the end of the fight.
Yeah. Did you know about that? Yeah. No, none of us know.
And then just last one for me. You said that you were pretty confident Conor would return this summer.
Yeah.
He had been tweeting a lot about his contract situation and everything over the last several months. Is anything new with Conor's contract, or is it still like this?
There is no deal done with Conor. I was just saying I'm confident. I was confident last year too, but I'm way more confident this year. Yeah.
Did you anticipate that Sean and Khamzat would be so kind to each other after the fight?
No, I was ready for the exact opposite.
And I mean, in a normal situation, like split decision, undefeated champion, it seems like everything would be set up for a rematch given their history and everything. But it seemed like Khamzat really struggled to make the weight this time, and he said
He literally walked up to me after the fight and said, I want to move up.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight in this weight class anymore.
Interesting. And I know it's very soon, but like, do you feel like he probably needs a fight to earn the title shot there and stuff like that? Carlos is injured. Have you thought about that division?
I don't know. I'm not even thinking about that.
Yeah.
But, him moving up's exciting.
Yeah. And the other bonus went to Yaroslav Amosov, and he was a former Bellator champion. A lot of those guys have had some struggles coming over here, but he's been unreal. 30-1. Is he kind of in line for a big push here and maybe another big opportunity?
Well, winning tonight and getting a bonus was definitely a step in the right direction.
And back to the thing with Hokit at the White House press conference. I know you don't want anything to happen, especially that fight week. Do you have to think about how that press conference is going to be during fight week? Like, can you have him and Ilya and Alex up there again?
No, I mean, Ilya and Alex are pretty chill guys normally. Ilya flips out every now and then, but we'll just be, didn't see that coming. They're all sitting next to each other in the same row, and O'Malley scoots back, and I'm just like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now. Because all I was worried about was the next, the weigh-ins, and not anything happening there. But we'll be ready for it. I mean, this is the business we're in.
And as far as what could be next for Sean,
And then he got in a fight with Costa tonight too, I think. Yeah.
As far as what could be next for Sean, Nasruddin Imavov obviously wanted this opportunity tonight. He was cage side. That's a rematch. They fought before. Would that kind of make sense?
I don't know. I don't know if you ever heard this before, but I don't make fights in that of the fight.
And can you answer one question for the internet? People want to know who the young man was up on the stage with the face-offs yesterday.
I have no idea. He was some kid from the crowd that was screaming my name.
And you just invited him up.
Yeah. Okay. I love doing stuff like that for little kids. He said, today's the greatest day of my life.
Yeah, I think he started an Instagram saying he's going to be the next heavyweight champion.
He said?
Yeah, I think he started an Instagram page posting all those photos and saying he's going to be your heavyweight champion.
That's awesome. No, he's got the personality, that's for sure. But I don't know him, and I just met him yesterday.
Dana, you said this week that you're going to promote Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have both came out and said that contractually that's not the case. Can you comment on that?
Interesting.
They've said in the contract there's no mention of TKO or Zuffa.
Fascinating.
So are you going to be the promoter of that?
I don't know. Let's see what happens. Do I ever say shit that really isn't true? That doesn't happen? That was a question.
I don't think you do, but Eddie Hearn has obviously come out, and Frank Warren, and both shut it down and said that the fight won't happen.
Then it must not be true.
Another one from me, just Ryan Garcia against Conor Ben's being spoke about.
Who?
Ryan Garcia versus Conor Ben.
Yeah.
Is that something that we're going to see? Obviously, then you'd have to work with Oscar De La Hoya to make that fight.
We'll see. We'll see how this all plays out.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you had a brief back and forth with Khamzat where he said he wants to move up. Did you guys say anything else? Can you tell us anything about the interaction between you and him after the fight?
No, that was it. You just said, I don't want to fight at this weight again. I want to move up.
Yeah. What's your reaction to that? I mean, the guy did fight at welterweight and then having a hard time making it at middleweight. Are you like, do you think that he applied himself, or you think he just naturally, like, you like that idea of him moving
Good
up?
question. Yeah, I don't know. He ever since Fight Island, he's gone on a run. He's undefeated, won the world title, did everything that he said he would do. But with the level of success and lifestyle, makes it tough.
And I guess maybe that's an answer to this next question, but you obviously were drawn to him so much. That's part of what set him on this path, and then everyone knows the health issues and inactivity. Do you feel like he has lived up to what you first saw at Fight Island? Obviously, he's been a champion.
When you see somebody fight for the first time and you're like, wow, this guy's special, and they become a world champion in the UFC, yeah, I would say so.
So yeah, you're satisfied with what he's done. Not that he's done, but you would say that he reached his potential so far here.
100%.
Yeah. And the last question I have is about the White House, and that you mentioned when you're talking about success and the numbers and everything. How do you even project? How do you even try to gauge something like this? Are you able to say that we have a prediction on this?
Yeah, it's no different than how we knew how we would do on pay-per-views. We knew tonight was going to be a big night on Paramount Plus. And it was massive, and the White House fight will blow this out of the water.
And you're able to do that just with like press.
What the fuck is going on in there? What's that?
It's just such a unique thing that I was just curious if.
What's unique?
Well, the White House itself.
Oh,
like how do you estimate and predict something like this of a one-on-one? But do you feel like just projections and numbers,
This
just like
is
yours?
the biggest event we've ever done by far. As far as the amount of people that will watch this show. Not even close. The biggest.
Dan, over here.
Yeah.
You're talking about like you like to do things for kids and that kind of thing. I saw you just like a couple hours ago, 1 hour or two ago, you plucked a little boy out of the crowd and let him out there. What was the story behind that? How'd this kind of come about?
I just met him too.
You just kind of saw this kid and you're like, you want to come?
Yeah. I said, you have a phone? He said, yeah. So I brought him with me. I mean, when you're kids, that's the easy shit. It's easy to do. And, you can get those type of experiences at the UFC as a kid. I love doing that for kids.
Sure. And speaking of kids, obviously you had Jim Miller goes out, picks up a big win in his home state. Obviously, a lot of emotions going through with his family and what his son had experienced over the last year. How much had you been kind of familiar with his situation? And
I wasn't till tonight.
Yeah,
till tonight. And tonight was the last fight on his contract. And we just signed him to 5 more fights.
5 more fights?
Yeah. That'll put him over. If he fights all 5, if he fights 4, it's 50 fights in the UFC. If he fights the last one, it's 51. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, I know he's trying to go for 50, and he likes that as like a round number. So what happens with that kind of last one? He just kind of hangs there?
I just threw it in there. I said, Sean goes, let's sign him to a 4-fight deal. I said, let's sign him to a 5-fight deal. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Dana. Here. I'm gonna make a couple of questions in Spanish. Fabiano will translate. Se habla mucho en la UFC de las rivalidades, pero hemos visto que en los últimos tiempos Alex Pereira e Ilia Topuria han entrenado juntos, han estado juntos, y en la conferencia de prensa de la Casa Blanca vimos cómo Ilia Topuria entró a defender a Alex Pereira. ¿Crees que se puede estar forjando una de esas hermandades grandes que pasen a la historia, que trasciendan las fronteras, como pudimos ver en su momento entre Chimaev y Darren Till?
We know that a lot of talk about rivalries in this sport, but we just saw a friendship being forged between Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria lately, with all the stuff that they did with the White House. And yesterday, in the press conference, you saw Ilia Topuria kind of defend Alex Pereira. Do you think that after so much time of in the history of this sport, so many rivalries, do you think we'll be going to an era of these super friendships in which people just kind of stick together, just like we saw with Khamzat and Darren Till, for example?
Yeah, I think that once guys get in here, there are obviously friendships that are forged and and rivalries. I mean, it happens both ways. I don't really understand your question, but yeah, I don't know. Kind of.
La otra pregunta es acerca del UFC en España. Hoy peleaba Joel Álvarez, no ha tenido su mejor noche, pero es un talento especial. Tenemos a Ilia Topuria, que es doble campeón de la UFC, y otros talentos también firmados por la UFC. ¿Podrías darnos una fecha exacta o aproximada al menos de cuándo podrá llegar la UFC a España? No sé si en 2027.
And much has been talked about UFC in Spain. Obviously, Joel Alvarez didn't have one of his best nights, but we have Ilia Topuria, a double champion, and there's a lot of new Spanish from Spain talent in the UFC. Can you comment on a possible date, something that has been in the works, possibly next year, when UFC Spain could happen?
Yeah, we literally have no dates set for Spain, but you know I want to go, and if you're going to go, you go with a guy like Ilia. So the answer is yes, we want to. No, we have nothing planned yet.
And last for me, hemos visto cómo Arman Sarukian hablaba contigo después del combate estelar dentro del octágono, y ahora también va a ser el peleador backup, el peleador de refuerzo por si se lesiona Ilia Topuria o Justin Gaethje. Quería saber si Arman Sarukian ya ha adoptado esa posición de contendiente oficial después de todos los incidentes, ¿no?, que todos conocemos que tuvo en el pasado.
We saw Arman Sarukian speak to you before the main event directly, and we know that he's going to be the backup for Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje. Now he's basically considered to be a contender given everything that happened in the past. Is that where he sits right now as the official contender?
Yeah, I mean, he was always a contender. I mean, he was supposed to fight for the title. Yes, he's a contender.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Just right, yes, sir. Buddy the Buddy and BSD are teasing a fight for International Fight Week. Can you give us confirmation? Because it can be a huge fight for European fans.
Did we announce that?
No, they are teasing it. Like BSD said that he are waiting for the signature of Paddy. So everybody waits for officialization in France.
Well, if we didn't announce it, then then it's either not done or it's not happening.
Thanks.
All right.
Dana,
Yeah.
coming up on 10-year anniversary of 205 at MSG, you've had fights at Barclays Center, at UBS in the area, but Prudential Center here in Newark, New Jersey appears to have emerged as the secondary venue you guys do in the area. How has that happened, and how has the UFC's history here, going back nearly 20 years, influenced your desire to want to be at Prudential Center?
Yeah, no, the Prew's been great to us, and you know, we sold out and broke the record last week in Perth. Then we came back in here and broke our record again at the Prew, and we will be back to MSG. And yes, MSG and Newark are the two spots that I'm going to keep hitting out here, and in this area. I hope I answered your question.
Just out of curiosity, how has the history going back to 2007, how has that influenced your desire to be here as opposed to other places?
Apparently, we're in the wrong room. The history here is number 1, number 2, number 5, and number 6. Highest gate here. We kill it in this arena. The fans are always great here. The arena's been good to us. The city's been good to us. The state's been good to us. That's the history.
Hey, Dana, right here.
Yep.
So we have right now several French fighters in great position in the UFC. Obviously, Cyril Gane, who's going to fight on the White House card. Benoit Saint-Denis, Nasruddin Imavov, Manon Fiorot. You guys already confirmed you coming for the 5th time in September in Paris. Is there any chance this time is going to be a numbered event with maybe a title fight on the line?
It's a good question, and you're not wrong. That's an incredibly smoking hot market for us. It's possible.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
John Armour here from Tunnel Vision Network. Jim Miller is still finishing fights, fighting over several generations of UFC here. Is he having one of the most underrated careers in the UFC history?
Yeah, I don't know if it's underrated. I don't know if it's underrated. I don't know what you call it. I mean, the guy's special. at his age to still be doing. I think he was a 3-1 dog tonight, and he wins in the first round by submission. That's why when we were looking at the performances of the night, it's hard not to give it to Jim. I don't know if I'd call it underrated. I don't know. He's special, and what he's doing is pretty amazing.
Speaking of just overall performances tonight had several different tough performances. Which fighter forced you to kind of, change your plans the most as far as the cards moving forward in division?
Which guy made me change my plans on what?
As far as division moving forward, like there were a lot of crazy performances tonight. Which performance shocked you the most, essentially?
I don't know if anybody really shocked me tonight. I mean, even the main event. I was talking to Chris Weidman, and Chris Weidman was like, "Man, everybody's sleeping on Strickland. Strickland's, his wrestling's not terrible, and blah blah blah." So I never thought that he was a 4-1 dog anyway. So I wouldn't say that anything shocked me. I would say impressed. The Van fight was incredible. I mean, what a war back and forth, and but nobody's fight tonight made me change my plans or shook up anything in any of the divisions. But the Van looked incredible tonight.
Dana, over here. There was an issue yesterday, like a lot of people online were talking about the Khamzat's weigh-in in particular. Like they were a bit concerned that perhaps he didn't quite get the 185 on the button. Could you explain to us, like, first off, have you seen that?
The New Jersey State Athletic Commission oversees the weigh-ins, right? And Jeremy Stevens missed by 4 pounds, right? And they had to, cut a deal. But for Khamzat, they just going to not let him make weight. Jersey and New York are two of the toughest commissions in the country. The internet's fucking stupid. I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than that.
What is the thinking? I know this maybe is a question for the commission, but I'm just wondering, what's the thinking behind having the manual scale instead of the electric scale?
Why not use the manual scale? Why not use the electric scale instead of the manual scale?
I don't know. Listen, Monday morning at 9:02, call the New Jersey Athletic Commission and ask them that. That's I have nothing to do with any of that stuff.
Another thing I wanted to ask about was of course, Conor McGregor, you're talking about being confident that he's going to come back, right? And I know that with the new Paramount deal, the structure of things does change. He's talked about how his contract was super heavily based on pay-per-view. Who's this? McGregor.
Oh, McGregor.
So he's one of these guys who could do 1 million pay-per-views fighting nobody, and then he's done 2+ 4 million against Floyd. How do you structure a deal with someone like that under this new Paramount? Because it's completely different to any other UFC fighter.
There's a formula to it. McGregor's going to do just fine.
What's the formula?
Huh?
What's the formula?
Oh, based on if you take the average of his pay-per-view buys and what they do, there's an equation for that you can. I mean, we've done it with a lot more guys than just McGregor.
Right, but I guess the concern would be that Jones isn't fighting, and that seems to be financial. Rousey is going and fighting somewhere else, and then Conor, we're still waiting on the deal on that one. It seems like the people who were going to be making huge money on pay-per-view back when that was the thing, it seems like the deals aren't necessarily getting done so far.
Yeah, don't believe everything you hear.
Another one was
most of the stuff is bullshit about all the numbers and things like that.
Another economic kind of question was to do with this Conor Benn thing, right? So he signs for Zuf on the one-fight deal, and it's 15, or the word is 8 figures. That's what people say. Right, so he does this one fight against Regis Prograis on an undercard. Does that mean that what are the economics of when he fights Ryan Garcia? That's a considerably bigger fight. Does he get another 20 million for that one? And how does the sort of the structure work for his multiple fight deal after that?
I don't know. Talk to him. Ask him what his deal is.
You're his promoter.
But I don't give out anybody's numbers ever. Conor, Ben, Conor McGregor. And anybody else here, if Conor Benn wants to talk about his contract and how much he's making, then talk to him about it.
Last thing, I just wanted to ask, so Eddie Hearn did come out yesterday. I Colm asked about it a little bit, but his comment, I just wanted to read his quote exactly. And again, this is Eddie's words, not mine. But he said, such a clout chaser, not a chance that you'll be promoting Fury and AJ. Contractually impossible, let me know when you find your balls. These are his words, not mine.
I'm a clout chaser. This Fruit Loop came out and said he's the fucking biggest fight in boxing. While he has Bam Rodriguez and AJ and all these other fighters and all the other guys that are out there, he's the biggest fight in boxing. Those were his words. You know what a fucking Fruit Loop you got to be to fucking say it? Nobody even knew who this guy was 4 months ago. And now he's the biggest fight in boxing. Yeah.
Also, are you involved in this?
I hope I answered your question.
Are you involved in this Johnny Manziel and Bob Menery fight?
I am not involved in that fight. They're doing it at the Apex, though. They rented out the Apex for that fight.
How will you and Oscar go, or Oscar De La Hoya on stage at the press conference go if you have to work together?
How did what?
How will you and Oscar De La Hoya work together? Like, how will it go on stage if you have to stand on the stage with him at the dais? That'll be a bit weird, right?
Who does he got that we'd have to
Garcia.
work together? Yeah, we'll see. There are a lot of rumors floating around in the boxing world. Like I said, at the end of this year, look at the body of work that we do and look at how this all plays out, and then maybe you guys will stop asking me all these questions.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Hey Dana, Travis Hayden of WFUV Sports, Fordham University. With all the chaos and this fight week, it might have been tough to realize, but today is the 6-year anniversary of UFC 249, another chaotic fight week for you and putting it on during the first show during the pandemic. What lessons did you learn in putting on that show that you're still applying to the business today?
What, the pandemic?
The UFC 249 show, the one in Jacksonville. Today was the 6-year anniversary.
Yeah, the pandemic taught me that nothing is impossible. We can do anything.
All right, that is awesome to hear. And so far we could see that. We've seen it with the Sphere and the White House. Another thing that happened in the pandemic was this huge boom in the flyweight division between Figueiredo and Moreno. And since then, it has evolved so much since then, where those guys have moved up, and now you have guys like Van and Tyra. And Van is looking to be one of probably the biggest star in flyweight in recent history. And I just want you to speak about the growth of the flyweight division a little bit.
Yeah, I think that, when we go into matchmaking, we start looking at each division. The matchmaking team has done a fantastic job in working on some of the divisions that, we felt were weak, or trying to figure out how to make some of them more exciting, how to inject more talent into these weight classes. And they've done a fantastic job.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Dana over here. There is a lot of expectation on the main events for the UFC 329 and UFC 330. Is there a specific date to make the announcements for that?
A lot of expectation for UFC 329 and UFC 330. Is there any announcement you can make about those two cards?
No, ma'am. If we did, we would have made them. Thank you. We done?
Mr. White,
yes.
I'm a reporter from Tokyo Broadcasting System. Although Tatsuro Taira lost the fight, could you share your thoughts on the possibility of the UFC holding events in Japan in the near future?
Any possibility of UFC holding events in Japan, because we had such an incredible fight with a Japanese fighter headline?
Well, if tonight went differently, it would have absolutely positively happened. I'm excited to have an event in Japan again. I know the staff is too. But had he won the title tonight, we would definitely be looking at a fight in Japan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Good night.